There are only a few cartoons that can maintain a chronological order in their episodes, and even My Little Pony tries to keep its plot holes to the minimum, they do in fact exist. Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie, and you for sure have stumbled upon some inconsistency in an episode. And this is why we're taking a close look to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and find those details that were totally forgotten or ignored by the writers. But let's start slow, with a detail that draws my attention since the beginning. Luna's hair. In the first season of My Little Pony, Twilight beats Nightmare Moon and transforms her back into Princess Luna. So far, so good. We see her regret their actions, crying and begging for forgiveness of her sister and all. But take a look at her hair. Do you see it? Okay. Now let's take a look into a scene from the second season. It's different, isn't it? From here, you can think, oh, but she might have gone to the hair salon. She might have just changed her looks, right? Wrong. You were wrong, my guy. Because, believe it or not, in the fourth season, precisely in the first 2 episodes, we see that Twilight drank a potion given by Segura to travel back in time and try to find a solution for the disappearing of both princesses. In these flashbacks, we can see them both defeating Discord for the first time, a long time ago, or as we say in Equestria, many moons ago. And look at her, right there, Luna from the past, with her current hairstyle. I don't really know if they gave up at the first design after that first episode, or if it was something commercial, but either way, I was really confused. And still talking about the 2 princesses, in the first episode we also have another plot hole, a big one actually. It happens at the introduction of the episode. Who watched it knows that the show starts with a narrator telling an old tale. She starts with once upon a time in the magical land of Equestria, there were 2 regal sisters, referring to Luna and Celestia, okay? And who is reading this book? Twilight. Keep that in mind. At the end of this same episode, after Luna is defeated, Celestia appears, and while she explained that she already knew that Luna would be back and blah blah blah, she comments that Nightmare Moon is Princess Luna, her sister, and everyone, including Twilight, gets surprised. Although she technically already knew, since you read that book. And this one is one of the most grotesque mistakes in the script, mainly because it wasn't information given in the same episode. Moving on, in the 6th episode of the first season, we see right at the beginning of it, Twilight makes a mustache appear in Spike's face. Note how well she does it, quite easily actually. Then in the 7th season, Rarity has a little accident and gets a little bold with a scheduled photo shoot. She gets crazy seeking a cure, but when she goes to Twilight and asks if she can redo her mane, she said that it is complicated and that the hair should come from somewhere and the result could be catastrophic. But then what about Spike's mustache? Someone lost its mustache in the process? Why the effect weren't catastrophic? There are 2 possibilities here. 1, there is a plot hole, or 2, that facial hair magic is different than regular hair magic. And speaking of Spike, the next plot hole is about him. In the first season of the show, The Cutie Mark Chronicles, we have a flashback of Twilight's admission test of Celestia's school, and we see that she was shocked with Spike being part of the test. But after a mental breakdown, she casts such a powerful spell that ends up transforming him into an adult dragon seconds after, okay? This is the first version of adult Spike that we see in the show. Now in the season 2, we also see Spike growing up, passing through all the phases of his development as a dragon, and he becomes a totally different dragon from the first one. Do you know what is the similarity between both of these versions? That's right, he doesn't have a wings in neither of them. This is probably due to them deciding that only later, but we know that from the episode 10 of the 8th season onward. He grows a pair of wings, making those 2 adult versions of him totally wrong, and totally different from the one that we see in the end of the show too, which is one of the most humanized versions of him. This next one isn't necessarily a mistake, but actually a fact that was thrown at us in the first season and kind of forgotten later. In the episode Boatsburger, we see Trixie bragging about defeating Ursa Major, and further in the same episode we see Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, and their colossal size. But after this episode, we don't hear of them anymore, even though they're really close by Ponyville. It seems like after that episode, we would see Twilight having to deal with them one day, but this never happened. This next one is actually a major plot hole. Or it confirms that Sunset Shimmer is actually a force here. In the first movie of Equestria Girls, we see that Pony stealing Twilight's crown and going back to the world where she was banned. And later we find out that she already knew that one of the elements of the harmony was in the crown. And I have only one question. How? At the time that Sunset was banned from Equestria, the elements of harmony were petrified. So she couldn't know about them. And she couldn't know that one of them was in the crown either. Mainly because Celestia explained in this movie that the portal isn't 100% open all the time. It only opens each 30 moon cycle. And this is even a bigger problem. She left a replica of it in the place, but how did she know the exact format of this crown? My god, I think we have a new Baba Vanga here. She knew exactly where Twilight was, where to look at, and even left a decoy crown. Truly magical. And you can be a psychic too. Do you wanna know how? Just hit the bell button to receive notifications. This way, you'll know when a video is out. Next, we have a fight between Rainbow Dash and Lightning Dust. For those who missed, in the season 3, we see Rainbow Dash in its first flying lessons. And the rivalry between both of them in the Wonderbolts Academy ends up with the expelling of Lightning Dust. That's okay so far. Then, in the 7th season, we see Scootaloo telling this fact to Rainbow Dash's parents. But then, at the episode 20, Scootaloo gets surprised that both of them knew each other. What? First, she tells a gossip and then she forget about it? There's no sense in this one. And speaking about Rainbow Dash, the last plot hole is about her dad. In the episode Equestria Games, we have a flashback of her as a child, with a pony with a rainbow mane. That is supposedly her dad. Who am I to judge? But when we meet her parents in the 7th season, he's not the same one we saw. I mean, they kinda look similar, but the cutie mark is different. Unless that pony from the flashback is some familiar of hers. This was another example of a trait change of a character inside a show that had no explanation. And you, do you know some other mistake in the script? Comment down below, I'm sure there are many other around there. But that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching this video till here, and hasta la vista!